Texas Tech and Utah. Texas Tech wins this thing 34-10 on the road. Rice Eccles, great atmosphere, amazing environment. Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt on the call. Always a fun time listening. And this was a fun game to watch if you like defense. The score, again, not indicative of what the first half looked like. I mean, it was 10-3 at halftime. And, really it felt like Utah was never out of this football game. It's just, and I say that because this score makes you think like, oh, this one was over. It was a blowout. And it really wasn't. That first half was just turnover after turnover after turnover from both teams. Back and forth, back and forth. Obviously, Baron Morton gets hurt. He goes out. You're thinking, okay, Utah might weather this storm. A backup quarterback on the road, Rice Eccles, tough environment. What can we make of it? Utah just never could capitalize. It felt like every time Utah would force a turnover, the 2 turnovers they did force, they would in turn turn it right back over. Of course, they lose the turnover battle with 4 of them. And then you think about, listen, Texas Tech was penalized 14 times for 122 yards, and yet they still win this game by 24 points. Offensively, they had 484 yards of offense. They moved the ball. However, they shot themselves in the foot how many times in that first half? Just brutal football in the first half out of them. And Morgan Scalley's defense played extremely well. But here's the biggest thing with Texas Tech is that defense played phenomenal. That defensive line has dudes, okay? Romello Height, some of these guys are extremely talented. Like, we're talking NFL caliber talent. They didn't wear out. They stayed true to it. They stayed consistent in terms of at least just discipline of keeping Devon Dampier in the pocket, not allowing his legs to beat them or kind of shift this game whatsoever. Utah could not find any production passing the football. It felt like the one big pass they did have that was a touchdown earlier in the first quarter was called back on an ineligible man downfield. I think it was Fanu went downfield. No idea. If you watch that back, no idea why he was downfield. Just miscommunication. But look, that was one of the more, I guess, just discombobulated efforts I've seen out of a Kyle Whittingham team, more specifically on offense, dating back to even last year. Like last year, I thought a lot of it was like, okay, hey, the quarterback room has really struggled, so I'm gonna give them some grace. Like, I understand why the lack of consistency or production is happening on this offense, but this year when I look at Devon Dampier and what they did in their first 3 games, I'm thinking, okay, hey, I think they can come out against a Tech defense that really hasn't been tested yet and have some success, and they just had none. None at all. I thought the secondary for Texas Tech played extremely well, very physical. They jumped routes. They were all over the field, flying to the ball. Texas Tech's linebackers clearly punched the ball out how many times? 2 punched out fumbles and then 2 interceptions thrown for Utah. So just not a great game for the Utes, but this is the type of win. If you're Texas Tech, these are the kind of wins you like, right? It's messy, it's ugly, it's gritty. You still make a ton of mistakes, but yet come the fourth quarter, you score 24 points and you win by exactly 20 points. 24 points. So like just a phenomenal closing to this football game on the road. Tough environment, and you set yourself up pretty darn well in a Big 12 that really still looks pretty open. We've seen Iowa State. We know they got a big game against U of A coming up here. I want to say, is that Friday? It's not Friday, is it? It's a Saturday? I think ASU plays TCU Friday, and then I think that U of A and Iowa State game should be Saturday. I can't. We'll do a preview on it. We'll get there. But look, all things considered, a great win out of Texas Tech. If it's Utah, if you are Utah, I don't think it's necessarily panic time yet. Although offensively, they're going to have to find some production from the receiver room, and they just can't turn the football over 4 times. That would be their first start. So great game, though, and excited to see what Texas Tech continues to do. So